is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
One 15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramnaikal. The headlines. Attention has been paid to enhance bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and Cuba further. The Minister of Health has decided to prevent from approving the leave to go abroad for specialist doctors and anesthetic doctors. Dr. Ajit Mendis has been appointed as the new chairman of the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation. The Minister of Urban Development and Housing has decided to recommence large-scale construction work which was suspended due to the economic crisis. Nearly 33,000 farmers affected by the drought, over 37,000 acres of paddy crop damaged. Special notice on allowances for kidney patients, disabled and elderly persons. In foreign news, Ukrainian prisoners of war say they were tortured at Russian prison. News in detail. Attention has been paid to enhance the bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and Cuba further. This was discussed at the meeting of Sri Lanka-Cuba Parliamentary Friendship Association recently. Chairman of the Executive Committee of the Association, Parliamentarian Professor Tissa Vitarana, said that the relationship which is existing between the two countries should be further increased. The Minister of Health has decided to prevent from approving the leave to go abroad for the specialist doctors and anesthetic doctors. Secretary to the Ministry, Janaka Sri Chandragupta, said that several sectors which were affected by the shortage of doctors have been identified. He also stated that necessary measures will be taken against the doctors who migrate without informing the Ministry of Health. The health sector has faced many crises due to leaving the country by specialist doctors. More than 600 doctors have left the country for specialist training. Out of this number, 300 doctors are scheduled to return to the country this year. Meanwhile, Dr. Ajit Mendis has been appointed as the new chairman of the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation by Health Minister Kelly Rambukwala. It is reported that former chairman Sarath Lienage was removed by the subject minister over several allegations. Dr. Mendis, who is to assume duties tomorrow, has also served as the Director General of Health Services. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The Minister of Urban Development and Housing has decided to recommence all large-scale construction work which was suspended due to the economic crisis. Secretary to the Ministry, W. Fernando, said that this project will be recommenced on priority basis. Construction work of 10 housing scheme projects only in Colombo City have been put off. He further stated that proposals have been convened for investment for the companies. The second electricity generation machine of the Norachole power plant has been added to the national grid after renovation. The electricity board said that it will be added to the national grid within the next few hours. It was inactive due to a technical fault. The Agricultural and Agrarian Insurance Board, AAIB, has now started assessing the crop damage caused to the rice cultivation due to the severe drought across the island. Accordingly, a daily report on paddy crop damage is handed over to the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mahinda Amaravira. Chairman of the Agriculture and Agrarian Insurance Board, WMMB Veerasekara, said 25 teams have been deployed for the assessment of paddy crop damage, which is being carried out covering the whole island, and a special team has been deployed from the head office to assess the damage in the Udavalava region. The report on assessment of the crop damage reported as of yesterday was handed over to the Minister of Agriculture, Mahinda Amaravira, this morning. And that ends local news for now.
This ain't no fake news, false flags, it is the real thing. Breaking records, making history, you know we got the big bling. 10 billion bonus all across the island. Ka-ching! Not millions, talking billions, yeah, it is the big win.
History's highest ever sure bonus declaration for SLIC life policyholders in 2022 exceeds 10 billion rupees.
10 billion bonus gonna make your dreams come true. 10 billion bonus for you.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Until a new scheme is prepared, the government has decided to pay the existing allowances for a total of 647,683 kidney patients, disabled persons, and low-income elderly citizens without making any changes. Taking to Twitter, Finance State Minister Shehan Semasinghe mentioned that the necessary financial allocations have already been made for these payments. According to the lawmaker, 517,962 elderly citizens, 88,602 disabled persons, and 41,119 kidney patients, including those waitlisted in the Aswasuma Welfare Benefits Program, would be given the allowances. The payments are expected to be made in the coming days. Semasinghe further said that elderly citizens can collect their allowances from post offices. Meanwhile, disabled persons and kidney patients can collect their payments from the divisional secretariats. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
On Watchlight this afternoon, all activities of Kumukkan Oil Reservoir of the Monragala district has been suspended. Plans had been made to construct a reservoir at an extent of 827 acres across Badalkumburo in order to provide water to 13,400 paddy lands in the districts for the Yala and Maha seasons. But the Department of Irrigation has decided to suspend the project for not receiving complete amount of money to implement the project. The farmer organizations in the area have requested the government to commence this project speedily, even with the assistance of foreign countries. And that came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
World News Headlines. Ukrainian prisoners of war say they were tortured at Russian prison. North Korea says US soldier fled because of racism in army. And Hawaii wildfires, Joe Biden vows to visit soon amid criticism. Former Ukrainian captives say they were subject to torture, including frequent beatings and electric shocks, while in custody at a detention facility in southwestern Russia, in what would be serious violations of international humanitarian law. In an interview with the BBC, a dozen ex-detainees released in prisoner exchange alleged physical and psychological abuse by Russian officers and guards at the pre-trial detention facility number 2 in the city of Taganrog. The testimonies gathered during a weeks-long investigation described a consistent pattern of extreme violence and ill treatment at the facility, one of the locations where Ukrainian prisoners of war have been held in Russia. North Korea has said U.S. soldier Travis King crossed into the territory last month because of inhuman maltreatment and racial discrimination in the army. The 23-year-old private dashed across the border from South Korea on the 18th of July while on a guided tour. Private King admitted to crossing illegally and wanted refuge in the north, state media reported. Washington said it could not verify the claims, which are Pyongyang's first public comments on the case. Concerns have been growing for the welfare of the U.S. soldier, who has not been heard from or seen since his crossing. U.S. President Joe Biden says he will travel to Hawaii as soon as he can amid criticism of his response to the island's deadly wildfires. Mr. Biden said he wanted to ensure that the people in the state had everything they need. The death toll from the fires is now 101, with some 1,300 people missing. However, residents have complained about the pace of the federal government's response to the disaster. While Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Over the weekend, Mr. Biden was asked by a reporter about the rising death toll in Hawaii, and he responded, "No comment." Back to the headlines of the world news. Ukrainian prisoners of war say they were tortured at Russian prison. North Korea says U.S. soldier fled because of racism in army. And Hawaii wildfires, Joe Biden vows to visit soon amid criticism. And that ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities from Deshak, Sri Lanka in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman, including company housemaid, salary 156,000 rupees, 23 to 57 years. Contact 037 7500 500.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced plans to transform Mannar into an energy hub during his presence at the annual festival of the National Shrine of Our Lady of Madhu in Mannar yesterday. He also revealed that an intercity express train service between Tale Mannar and Colombo will commence on the 15th of September, aiming at enhancing connectivity and facilitating smoother travel between the two cities. And that was Development News.
Job opportunities for women from Deshak, Sri Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Company housemaids, caretakers and home cooks in Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 57 years. Salaries starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can now travel overseas free of charge. Branches, Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 037 7500 500. Deshak, Sri Lanka Foreign Development Agency.
On to sports news. The Sri Lanka athletic team will leave for Hungary tomorrow to participate at the World Athletic Championship. The tournament will begin on the 19th of this month. Kalinga Kumarage is a team leader comprising 7 athletes. Manager of the Sri Lanka team Ajit Naragala said that the initial events of the Sri Lanka team will begin from the 21st of this month. And that was sports news.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
On to business news. Aiming to create awareness on the growing significance of sustainable development, environmental, social and governance financing or ESG financing, the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce recently conducted a webinar on ESG financing and the impact of sustainability standards in the financial sector on access to finance for businesses. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. The Invest Sri Lanka Investor Forum, which was organized by the Colombo Stock Exchange, CSE, in association with the Confederation of the Indian Industry, CII, were concluded successfully on the 11th of August 2023 in Mumbai at the Taj Lands End Hotel. The forum made a strong case for investment flows into Sri Lanka and witnessed a strong turnout of over 120 prospective investors from Mumbai. Shahan Semasinghe, State Minister of Finance, was the keynote speaker at the forum. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
Several spells of showers will occur in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle, Matra, Kandy and Nuwara districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. Fairly strong winds, about 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in the northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee, Hambantota and Monragala districts. And that was the weather report. Prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. Attention has been paid to enhance bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and Cuba further. The Ministry of Health has decided to prevent from approving the leave to go abroad for specialist doctors and anesthetic doctors. Dr. Ajit Mendis has been appointed as the new chairman of the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation. The Ministry of Urban Development and Housing has decided to recommence large-scale construction work which was suspended due to the economic crisis. Nearly 33,000 farmers affected by the drought, over 37,000 acres of paddy crop damaged. A special notice on allowances for kidney patients, disabled and elderly persons. On foreign news, Ukrainian prisoners of war say they were tortured at Russian prison. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.